Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hunt the Wild podcast. I'm your host, Adam Bowlds, and today I'm joined with a guest you guys probably all know, Brett Morris of Blue River Bowhunting. This is actually his um, third time being on the show, but I wanted to bring him on today because he's the only other guy that I know that self films and been kind of talking about doing a show on self filming. And I just wanted to do like a really thorough breakdown on um, camera gear. So you kind of like, if you don't know what to buy, you don't know which avenue to take, you can kind of maybe listen in and know how much money to spend, or if you should get a DSLR or a camcorder or any of that sort of stuff. So I'll let you introduce yourself, or maybe somebody that hasn't listened before, and we'll jump into it.
I'm Brett Morris from Blue River Bowhunting. I do a lot of filming for YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And we actually have our own podcast as well that Adam's been on. And we just wanted to get on here and kind of do an in-depth, on the filming gear because I get asked that quite a bit. And I've actually thought about putting a YouTube video out here the last few weeks. Just kind of been bored, not really had much content to put out. But I get that question a lot. What do you run with? And people that do it, I'm sure my setup is wildly different than Adam's here, and his is different than mine, just because we kind of figure out what we like and what we want to use. But for anybody that wants to get into it, this would be a huge help. I wish I had a show like this that I would have paid attention to back when I got into it, because might have helped me out a little more.
Well, I just kind of want to touch on how you got started in filming. I know we've covered this a little before. You can maybe just speed through it or whatever. But how did you decide to pick up a camera and start filming your hunts?
It's funny. My wife actually got a Sony Handycam, I think it was. My mother-in-law got it for her bachelorette party. She did the bachelorette party or whatever and brought it home, and I was kind of checking this camera out, and uh, me and a guy that hunted together a lot at the time was like, "Hey, we should take this with us and film." We always get cool. There's how many times have you been in a tree stand and you saw something and you tell your buddy, like, "I saw a giant today," and they're like, "Yeah, I bet you saw a giant today." Like, you just had that proof. So it started to intrigue me, and I had used GoPros a little bit before that on the waterfowl side of things, but I was just like, okay. So I bought a cheap camera arm that you know buckled up to the tree. It was a real hunk of junk. Put my camera on there and just started from there, really. And I got to a certain point where I was like, I really want to do this, and I don't want to mess around anymore with this junky equipment. I want to have nice stuff, and I want it to look good. I want it to sound good, and I really just want to focus on the filming side of it.
What what's like before we jump into like gear specifics and everything? What's like the main thing that you would advise somebody before jumping into all this?
Just like I said, buy you a cheaper camera. It doesn't have to be anything nice. Buy a cheaper camera and see if you like it. They have things where, like, if you're in a ladder stand, they have a little deal where you can put your camera on the ladder stand. It doesn't have to be a full blown camera arm. You could try to do it with your hand. I don't advise that enough because you'll be more shaking more than you realize. But just start very small. Maybe start with the GoPro. Put it on the end of your bow or your gun or something, and just test the waters and see if it's something that you want to dive into. Because I can tell you right now, once you dive into it, you're going to dive into it because you're just going to be hooked on getting everything you can possibly get on film.
Yeah, I would say, like, just from my perspective, my advice maybe would be, I mean, most everybody has a smartphone these days, and I'm sure you can buy some kind of, like, if you hunt from a ladder stand, or maybe you can hook it to a branch, but you could pretty well put an iPhone or maybe an Android, I don't know, like on some kind of
Absolutely.
mount and film pretty decent footage,
I mean, it
I would
probably has
think.
better a camera than some of those smaller cameras that I'm talking about. I mean, this iPhone 13 or 12 or whatever it is I got, it probably films better than that Sony Handycam I had back in 2014 or whatever it was when I started it. Or it's been a few years back, but
It's funny, you look back and you probably thought that footage was so good. Now you'd look at it now and you'd be like, oh my gosh.
well, my first ever video that I put out on YouTube, like I said, I had several years worth of film. Some of it better than others, obviously, but even turkey hunting, back in the day, I had a small little tripod and I'd put that Handycam. So I put all this footage together for my first YouTube video, and it was just like, and then I go back and look at it now. I was like, man, my camera's so shaky. It was just all choppy when I moved it. It just looked like crap compared to some of this video that we can get now on these bigger cameras.
So, anyone listening to the show, we're doing something new this time. I'm trying out a live, so we're gonna get hopefully some
Yeah,
comments
I see
coming
we got a
in.
comment on there now.
So, I might butcher the name. It's Tony Lusk, I
Tony
think.
Lusk, yeah, he's from out here by me. Tony, as long as you got a camera arm, man, it's a game changer because you can also go hands free on it. But you know when you get that camera arm, make sure that it's on the tree, good, because the older one that I had when I first started, like it would even creak, when I got it at certain angles and stuff, and it would make me mad and I just didn't know enough about it. One of the footage that I have from way back, my cousin Alan shoots like a 130-inch deer. I had to take the camera off the base, so this deer is at like 15 yards, and I'm sitting there shaking, and I even stopped the deer, meh. And he smoked it. We didn't end up finding that deer, but it was cool to get all that on video back then and be like, I put it on the wife's computer at the time and put it in slow-mo to see where the arrow hit on all that. It was really cool even back then.
Hey, Tony said he's got an arm that holds a phone and it works pretty good.
I mean, if that works for you, buddy, that works for you. And Tony,
If you don't,
you need to get a hold of me, Tony, because I got some stuff I want to get you going on part of. But
hey Tony, if you get a chance, drop the name of that arm that holds a phone. Maybe somebody wanting to get involved will check out that arm if they don't want to dive too deep yet. Maybe if it's on Amazon or whatever. I'd love to hear what it is. So I guess the first question usually is like when you want to get involved in self filming, maybe you've done it with a phone for a little bit and you want to buy a camera. You get online, you search camera to film hunts. The first thing that's probably going to come up is Campbell cameras, and it's got a million different cameras on there, and you don't know what to buy. And there's DSLRs, and you go down and you see camcorders. How did you decide what to buy? I know you went with a camcorder.
yeah, I went with a camcorder. And obviously, I did a lot of research on, when I got to the camcorder thing. I didn't want the DSLR. It looked too breakable to me. I figured I'd drop it and break. I know the lenses for that can be super expensive. So I wanted something that I could, had the playback screen as I'm filming, all that. And then I just started going through all these reviews, and there was tons of people on YouTube that had the cameras that I were looking at, and they would go through, hey, this is how we film with this. This is the results you're getting from this camera. And then I was just drawn into certain cameras. And talking about Campbell camera, do you remember the show they had back on the Outdoor Channel way back when? It was called Campbell's Outdoor Challenge, and they had all these teams, two-man teams, that would go to these places and film, and then they got scored on the footage that they got for the week that they were there or whatever. That was my favorite show. That's almost what drew me to filming, because I would sit down, I watched that show religiously. Like, I knew what night it came on, and it was just like something really cool. And I was like, a lot of those two-man teams, they had a hunter, and then they had the cameraman. I don't have any problem being the cameraman. I get excited going, even like if I'm going to a new place with maybe a place I haven't hunted before with somebody filming. I still get jacked up because I'm like, I can see some shit that I ain't never seen before. You know what I mean?
Brett cracks me up because he'll be like, "Hey man, you can come up here and shoot whatever, and I'll film." And I'm like, "I'll come up there, but I just want to film. You hunt."
Right?
So we both want to film, so we're kind of like,
well, I got
really
guys
sure
that need cameraman too, so you can always come up here and then split off and you film with somebody. Like we had talked a little bit about this Missouri trip that we were kind of telling people about a little bit, and that if you didn't want to buy a Missouri tag and you just wanted to go and have fun, I know. I don't know if he'll see this or not. Austin Kreider from Ohio was texting me about it because I was telling him, and he goes, "Dude, I'll just go and somebody put a camera in my hand. I'll film for somebody." I'm like, "Dude, I'm sure we could probably work that out for you."
Oh yeah, anybody listening, like if you live around me or not too far or whatever, hit me up. I don't even want to shoot your deer. I just kind of want to film
That's what
it.
I tell a lot of people, because a lot of people, you talk about it, and mention certain things to them. And that's one of the things I always say, listen, I don't want to kill your deer. I want to film you shooting your deer. That's what I want on footage.
For free.
I don't, yeah, for free. I'm not looking to charge you. I'm not looking to ask for meat or this or that. I just want to film you, and I have fun doing that. Looks like he says a 34-inch easy mount Realtree cell phone camera from Amazon. I'll have to check that out because I know me and you've kind of gotten in on the TikTok thing or whatever. It'd be kind of cool to set your phone up too and do like a TikTok live as you're sitting in the stand or something. It'd be cool kind of perspective from maybe people that don't know your YouTube or your podcast or that kind of thing.
So I tried to do a little live. I did a little bit of live stream on TikTok in September in Kentucky, but I didn't do it very long because I was afraid of, when we've talked about this before, getting banned for a bow or whatever.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's a really cool concept. If you can just manage to get signal wherever you're at, and you can avoid getting kicked off the platform for hunting content.
We did it during muzzleloader season, me and Adam, and we had like 300 people in there watching us. I was like,
wow.
And because then people start typing stuff, like talking to you, and it's like, I'm not talking back to you. I might nod yes or no, but I'm not speaking. It's even kind of, if you tell an old timer or something like that, like I'm live up in the tree stand recording, and they're probably like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean?
So back to the camera stuff. So you're like, I'm going to film, I'm going to buy a camera. Obviously everyone has a budget, but I kind of want to break it down. Like, you probably have like low budget, medium budget, high budget. You're like, man, I really want to do this. Like, I'm going to be doing it for a while. Would you recommend buying low budget and upgrading later?
Yes,
Or
absolutely.
would you recommend buying like a medium budget and not upgrading for a while?
I would highly recommend buying low budget camera wise. I would recommend you buy low budget, figure out what you like before you step up into that $1,000, $1,500, even more than that range on your camera. They can get very expensive very quickly. But when you pay for that kind of money on those cameras, you are getting what you paid for. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you buy a $1,500 camera, it's probably going to have a lot of nice stuff that goes with it, setting wise, or whatever, sound wise. Sound can be a big thing that people really don't realize when it comes to self filming. I don't know if you have that on your show sheet or not, but
no, I do not. But
let's talk about it then. I have an external mic. Let me grab my camera real quick. I have a Canon XA11. It's a consumer camcorder that I put a camo skin on. But here at the top is an external mic, and you can get some crazy sounds off that thing. Like, I did a video on YouTube of cooking some stuff. My cousin Aaron did some venison Manhattans for us. He kind of done a lot of cooking, culinary stuff. And we were shooting the video, and his brother starts whispering to him in the video, and I kind of just turn and look at him. He's like, what? I'm like, it can pick up a mouse running across the floor. It's going to hear what you just said. And in the video you can hear him whispering, but it picks up small sounds. And I've thought about going with the wireless microphones, but we really don't talk that much in our videos. And when we do interviews and that kind of thing, it'll pick up anything. You can actually kind of whisper, and it'll pick you up just fine.
So while you have your camera up, can anyone that's watching on YouTube can see it? Where did you get that camera? Just kind of to lead people in the right direction.
Yep.
And what did you pay for it?
I got it off the Campbell's Cameras website. They have a ton of stuff. And I mean, a ton of stuff. You can be looking at that site for hours. But I think I paid like $13.99 or something. It was close to $1,500 with the bill because I bought some other stuff to go with it. The external mic ran about $200, and you can get it. I mean, when you start really buying that kind of stuff that you want, specific things on, it can be expensive.
So when you chose your camera, I know we touched on it a little bit. why the camcorder over the DSLR? Because the DSLR does, in my knowledge, I would say shoots better video. It's a little more crisp. So
Right.
why did you go camcorder?
I went camcorder just for the I had started when I started out. I used the camcorder, and I just liked the way that everything went. If I'm walking through, tracking a deer after we shoot it or whatever, it actually has like a little grip on the side. So I can walk through and be pretty gentle with it walking around, and not be really shaky. But I just like the way it fit in backpacks and stuff like that. I just like the mobility of it, I guess. And I just felt like those DSLRs just looked like they could break at any second, Like I figured these would maybe do better. I know you'll get into it at a certain point, but battery life and stuff, I can switch the batteries on and off of it, seamlessly without no problems. And I don't know how that even works with a DSLR because I don't have any time behind one. I've never used one, so I could never, I just had the experience with the camcorder that I felt like would transition well if I bought a nicer one.
Could you show us real quick how to pop the battery out of that? I mean, we'll get pretty in depth just so people
There's just a
know.
battery on the back, and it just pops right off. Just
Okay.
one little slide button. I slide forward, and the battery pops right off of it, and then I can slide the other battery right in.
So do you get pretty, if you're walking with that, you get pretty steady
Yeah, you
footage?
can get pretty steady footage with the thing on your with just the strap on your hand. I don't use that too often. I even sometimes will put it on a tripod if I'm going to walk with it. And I really haven't really even put that much footage out of me using just my hand. I've used it a few times like that, but most of the time I want it on a camera arm or a tripod because there's nothing worse than trying to watch somebody's video, and it's all shaky and you feel like you're about to throw up watching it. That's just a
Yeah.
pet peeve of mine when I go to watch YouTube videos. If I watch your YouTube video for 5 minutes and it starts being real shaky and I don't like it, I'll turn it. I'll go to another channel because I don't want to see that. And that's just a personal thing.
Yeah, something. So I use a DSLR, and I'm kind of salty about it. I used to use a camcorder, and I went to this.
Hmm. That's with the lens off of it, correct?
Yep, that's with the lens off of it, and I'm kind of wanting to go back the other way. There's here it is right here. I'll just throw a lens on it real quick. So basically, the lens, it's a telephoto lens,
Hmm.
more of a longer one, but you just pull the cap off and you can see all the steps that it takes in a tree,
All
because
right.
all this has to be protected. So I have to take this off.
It
I
seems
have,
like a lot to maybe have to do once you already have the camera arm and all that kind of shit on the tree ready to go, even.
yeah, see, I'll mount this to the fluid head, and then you got
Right.
to line up there's, I don't know if you can see it, but
Yeah, I can see.
there's some dots on here. You got to line up these dots and get it locked in.
No, don't
And
get me
then,
wrong. That thing takes probably some bomb pictures.
it does. And so I went in the direction of this. I had a Canon G30 or a 20, I can't remember, and I was like, I want to get a DSLR. Takes a little bit better footage.
Adam
Um,
Bonnewood says we will have a kill on video this weekend on that camera. I hope so, dude. I really hope so. Oh, then we have another comment. Tony, Adam, how much do you have in your DSLR?
so I'll try to get close on the numbers. I think I paid right around 1,000 or 1,200 just for the body, which would just be the camera itself. And then you're going to get into the lenses. This is probably a $200 lens. So this is the lens that I carry while I hunt to mainly film anything other than myself.
Hmm.
And then this is going to be the lens that I have to take that one off, put it back in my bag, swap it out. Anytime I want to do an interview, I have to swap out because this lens is it's too close. I can't
Hmm.
zoom out too far with it. So this is $100, $150 lens. So I'd say I'm around Brett, around 1,500. Then I've got this.
That's just the camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just the camera and a couple lenses, and then probably, I don't know, 100 in the mic,
And that's a
which
Rode mic, right?
it's a Rode mic, yes,
Rode
and it
mics.
just
If you're looking to get an external mic, even for a camcorder like mine. Rode mics are the way to go. Very high quality, great reviews on everything. I went a step below that, just kind of time sensitive. I was trying to get it all put together before deer season had started, and that's the mic that I ended with. I actually have the cover, the wind cover, like he has on his, but I actually prefer to go with the foam a lot. Unless it's super windy. If it's super windy, I will break that windsock out. But most of the time, I'm using just the foam cover for it, because you can take. I'll take the cover off of it. This is what it looks like. It's an external microphone, and they're very sensitive. So, having that cover on it is $1,000,000. It'll save you on a lot of things.
So, I mean, basically, for me, the reason I went DSLR was I thought I was going to be taking a lot of photos, like, after the shot. And then I realized that iPhone cameras are pretty
amazing.
damn good.
Yeah.
So I do a little bit of like amateur photography, a little bit on the side. So I'm gonna keep it. I think it would be good for certain things. It's probably, if I was gonna go film somebody, um, and I wasn't gonna hunt, I think I would use my DSLR because it takes
You could
better
just
footage.
take pictures, or if you just had that in your backpack too. Obviously having a camcorder and a DSLR is very expensive, but you could almost have it in your backpack and pull it out and take pictures that when you're not recording. And I've seen it before. I don't know if you've seen it for the DSLR, but it has like a socket, and you put it, like, I don't know exactly where it goes, but somewhere on your chest, and you can like hook that camera into that socket, and it just like hangs on you, so you could just kind of pull it back up and take pictures and almost like let go of it, and it ain't gonna go nowhere.
I
I
think
would
I
be
would
nervous,
almost.
but
I think if I was gonna film just for somebody and not hunt, I think I'd take it because I can manage all the lens swaps and all that stuff because that's the only thing I'm focusing on. But
mm-hmm.
things when you're trying to hunt and trying to swap lenses, you're doing an interview and all of a sudden a deer comes in, you got to swap the lenses and put the caps on and try to shoot and try to do yardage and all that stuff. It just comes too much. So I would say, um, if you need a good all around camera and you're not wanting to like buy multiple cameras, I would definitely recommend going with a camcorder because it's a
Yeah.
lot easier.
And my camcorder takes pictures too.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, there's a photo button on it. I just click it and it takes a picture, which
Does
is
it
pretty
take
nice.
does it take pretty good photos?
Yeah, it don't take too bad. Like you said though, I can take a picture with my iPhone and it's probably gonna look better. You could do a lot with an iPhone. You could probably film with an iPhone as long as you weren't like really reaching out there on a zoom. I think my camera has like 20 times zoom or whatever. And, I can really reach out there and look at the tick on that deer from deep, but an iPhone's not going to do that. But if you had, like you said, he had the camera arm for his phone, you could probably get a lot done with that, really, and it probably wouldn't look too bad.
So when you picked your external mic, so we've covered the cameras. Let's actually cover the lenses on this DSLR. So basically, for me, I chose. Let's see. I think this is a 55 to 250. I picked this. It's like a good mid-range lens. It's about a couple $100. I chose this because I needed to be able to zoom in pretty close to deer. I'd say within 100 yards, like I'm getting pretty good footage. I can
Mm-hmm.
see them pretty well. And then I got this. This might be the 50. No, this is a 24. This is really good, like wide angle shot to do like interviews and stuff on. But be mindful that when you buy the camera, you do have to buy the extra lenses, and they can add up fast. So you don't just buy the camera and you're just ready to film.
Just tell your wife that you're gonna do wedding photography or something to make some money on the side, and then just buy some really nice camera equipment.
There you go. But yeah, so the lenses, they can get expensive, but the microphone, I know there's a bunch of different Rode microphones. How
Yeah.
did you pick the one that you wanted? What did you pay for
I
it?
wanted the Rode. That's what I actually went in there to buy. Then I started looking, and I was like, well, I can spend $150 less than the Rode and have I didn't know because on the camera that I had before it had built-in microphones, which this one does too. But I wanted that external mic to you get the sight or the sounds that you're not going to get from just a built-in mic. And it was really a trial run, to be honest with you. The one I bought, it's all try. I want a Rode mic. That I will be buying one of those at some point. They're really really nice. That company makes some really nice stuff.
Do you have any kind of extra gear on your camera, as far as something that's not required but that helps
Yeah.
you?
Well, I don't know if it helps me, but the skin on it. I got the camo skin. It's all camouflage. This camera is actually black, and you don't have to have a camo one. I just kind of thought it looked cool, so I bought it. I could easily peel it all off if I want to, but I almost prefer it to be camo because I'm not only using it just for deer hunting, but I'm using it for like turkey hunting. Turkey hunting, I got it on the ground. I can be, up close and personal with some of these turkeys. Like in Missouri last year, it was in the blind and or whatever, but it didn't scare. We had turkeys at 2 yards outside the blind, and they didn't see us. I mean, it's crazy, but I've been on the ground too, filming the turkeys with this thing, and I've never had a problem. I did have one problem though, and you probably can't see it, but on the very front of this, there's actually a red light that blinks when I'm in record. I have a piece of electrical tape over the front of it just so you won't see it because his name's in the comments down here, but Adam Bonowitz, we took his kids down to Kentucky for youth turkey hunting down there. And first thing, they flew off the roost. I called a Jake in like 15 yards. And I think he's seen that red blight. I didn't even think about it. I'm never in front of that camera. I'm always behind it, so I had no idea. But that bird came in, and he was like super nervous, super quick. And we were hid. We had like a little wraparound blind and stuff. And we were completely, I mean, you probably wouldn't have been able to see us unless you knew we were there. But I think he's seen that blinking red light. So like I always have a piece of electrical tape on it now just to hide that light.
That's one of the things you learn. The more you
Absolutely.
use your gear, you kind of learn what you need to tweak on it because it doesn't always come from the factory in perfect shape. So those skins, do they sell those specifically for that camera? Or
For
is that
the
something you have
camera,
to
yeah.
make?
Nope, they make them specific for each camera that they sell. And it just came in like, I don't know, 15 or 20 different sections, and it tells you what section it is, and then you peel the backing off and get it set down and everything. It's pretty nice, man. I don't know if I'm pretty sure that they do, but I actually have the lens cover for mine. This is actually can come off, but I can open and close that so the dust stays off my lens and stuff like that. I think that was an extra that I got with this camera as well.
So usually when you guys, like, if you go out and buy a camera, it's going to come with one battery. Sometimes you might be filming all day. I don't know, but how many batteries do you think people should carry? I personally carry two. I carry one in my camera. I carry one extra, and they're pretty expensive. They're about $50-$60 for a battery.
Yeah, they I carry two as well. I think the batteries for this were right around the same thing, 50 or $60 or something like that. But it's always nice. You never know because like if you do an all-day sit and your camera's out there in the elements, colder weather can actually drain your battery. So, you might see some deer midday and you're filming hard, maybe a 15-minute segment, on and off filming some deer coming through. Next thing you look at it and you got 15 minutes left on your battery, you're like, oh, and you go ahead and switch it out, be ready for that.
So I didn't have this in my show notes, but something I do want to touch on is the whole process of like getting your camera gear. So you go out, you have all your stuff in the truck. Let's say you go after work, you film. You maybe film 2 hours. You hunt 2 hours, because it's getting dark, and you maybe film, let's say, a half hour. You come home. You put all your camera gear away. What's the process look like for you? Do you plug all the batteries in so you're ready next time?
Yep. So I'll come back and I have a big plastic bag. I know that sounds weird, but I have this really big plastic bag that my backpack goes in, my camera backpack goes in, and I have like my harness and stuff like that. It's just all in this big plastic bag. A lot of it helps me for scent, but it also all my stuff's kind of together. So I'll pull that plastic bag out of the back of the truck, bring it down into my man cave, and I'll plug the camera in, and then I'll take the SD card out of it and plug the SD card in my camera and download everything that I've had on the SD card. But the good thing about my camera is it runs dual SD cards. So I have two SD cards in it at all times, and say that SD card fills up, and then it starts recording on the other SD card. So I'm not ever really worried about, filling an SD, because you'd have to be filming a lot of stuff to film up, a 32 gig card in a hunt or something. It'd have to be a pretty action packed day. But I never have to worry about that because I got that extra SD card. And I should have brought it out. I actually have a booklet, a SD card book that I keep in my camera backpack, and just in case something goes wrong or something, I got a whole mess of them. Sometimes we check trail cameras coming in and out, and I can just pop one in, pull the other one out, kind of thing, or whatever. We have card readers too, but sometimes it's easier just to pop the card in and walk away from it.
I was going to ask you, what size SD cards do you carry with you?
For my camera, I run the 64s.
Okay. Is there a reason?
Just to have a lot of storage.
Yeah.
And I buy the nicer ones with like the can't remember exactly what it's called, like a U on it. It's got a U on the card.
Yeah, it's actually like the class 10s or whatever.
Yeah, it's made for shooting high def footage, 4 or 5K or whatever, and it's gonna look better. I know that can sound weird, but a cheaper SD card may not save your footage as clear as you want it to be. There's just so many things you can really zone in on these cameras.
I like to something I've learned just through the years with trail cameras too, is sometimes you plug an SD card in, just for me, it won't work. Either it got screwed up when you plugged it into your computer, or you didn't eject it right. You got in a hurry and you just pulled it out and didn't eject it. So one thing I always do is I have actually
I have this almost the same exact thing.
I try to, and it's kind of scattered now, but I try to carry at least like 6 SD cards with me, because I never know if I'm going to be pulling a camera or if I'm ever going to be, filming a lot. But sometimes my cards fall out of this case. But
yeah, mine do too, especially because on some of the like the GoPros, and then on a couple of like the Spy Points, it runs the mini SD cards.
Yeah.
So I put like the adapters. I think I have one right here actually. It's an adapter that you put the smaller SD card in and then plug it in. I actually have 2 or 3 of those in my little booklet thing just to hold the mini SD cards.
Yeah, super, super handy to carry that. It's not that much weight.
Yeah, I have one of these cards right here. It's an SD scan disc. It's a SD XC class 10, 64 gigabyte. But that's ones I use mostly on my camera. Because a lot of the trail cameras, I don't know how yours are, but like the regular SD card cameras, you can only use up to a 32 gig card in that. I don't know why that is. I've tried to put 64 gig cards in some of these cameras, and it literally it just says error, and then you put a 32 in it, and it works just fine. I don't know why that is.
Sometimes I'll plug, because I run different cameras. I have ones that I've bought, and ones that buddies don't use anymore. They're like, I'll sell for you $20-$30. I'll grab it. I have cameras that won't take an SD card, and I'll take that same SD card and plug it into another camera, and it'll be fine. So they can be finicky. So I like to carry a lot of different cards and different sizes, and you just never know. So I used to film just what I thought needed to be filmed. Yeah. So now I've kind of gotten to the mindset of film everything, and you can edit out whatever. Can you talk a little bit about capturing all the footage you can, and then you can cut it out later?
Yeah, a lot of times, like we've joked before, you get up in there and you don't really necessarily have anything to film yet, so you kind of do like a panoramic view, kind of show your view, or sometimes I'll video squirrels just to mess around, or I'm gonna admit I've been in a tree stand a lot where I don't even turn the camera on because there's just nothing to film, and I don't need any more B-roll at the time. It's just I would say that I video what needs to be videoed most of the time, but once I get what needs to be videoed, then I realize I need to put stuff in there with it, and that's kind of when I go through that motion of getting the B-roll. I don't do an interview every time. Um, I know it sounds weird. Sometimes I'll do the interview after maybe something happens. A lot of that's kind of, I would say, edited almost. Like if we shot one, and then go back and do an interview pre-kill to make it look that way, and then do an interview after you killed it or whatever happened. I haven't done that too many times. I've only done that a handful of times just because I didn't do an interview that morning, and it was such a cool hunt that I wanted to have that pre-interview. Like it's the last day of gun season here. We're just in here doing some doe patrol kind of thing. Add that in there. It may not be super staged, but it was definitely after something happened.
Yeah, something that can get frustrating is and anyone that's deer hunted for any amount of time knows that, I mean, maybe 1 out of 20 times you might shoot a deer, 1 out of 10.
Right.
So you may go in every day and you like get in the routine of do the interview and do the B-roll and do all this, and it's like all for nothing
Yeah,
because you
you didn't
can't.
even see anything. You're not going to use that interview, so
Yeah,
that's why I do that process quite a bit. Now, sometimes I'm just in the mood.
yeah.
Like, man, the weather's, everything's going right. We got the wind in our favor tonight. Let's do an interview just because I'm feeling it tonight. Just kind of go off of what you're feeling at the moment.
So B-roll, can you maybe some people don't know what B-roll is. Can you kind of explain what B-roll is and how you kind of capture that?
B-roll is just something that you're gonna stick in there almost as a filler. Like you may seen on some of my videos, the squirrels playing around, or I may have did a 10-second shot of some trees where the leaves are blowing, or something like that. That's my B-roll. I've captured some cool stuff like this year. I think it was actually opening day of bow season. The farmer was cutting the beans around us. So I kind of just started filming his tractor as it would go by. I did it a couple times, and I put it in the video. It just kind of gave it that cool element, that I'm hunting in this place and they're harvesting crops. So it gave you that perspective of mine that, you're probably thinking, oh man, you're probably gonna see something tonight. You probably got the deer stirred up or whatever.
He'll get you all excited, and then he'll end the video and say, "We didn't see anything."
Yeah.
Do you use a GoPro or anything for B-roll or?
I do. I shoot a lot of B-roll through my main camera, but I've almost turned the GoPro angle into just a secondary angle on what's happening. Me and Monowitz were actually talking the other day. I think I might carry one. I just got a brand new GoPro Hero 9 that hasn't even been used yet, but I'm probably going to keep it in my pocket because we're going to be running saddles, or I'm going to be at least running a saddle next year. I want that camera to be in my little pocket. How many times have you walked in or walking out, do you encounter a deer, or maybe you jump up a coyote or a bobcat, or something happened on your way in or your way out, and it'd be cool to maybe try to capture that on film.
Yeah, I always find myself with two things open when I walk into the woods. It's usually Onyx, and I have my camera on video on my phone because it's like almost always it seems to be jumping a deer or seeing a coyote or walking in on a guy hunting and he's screaming at me or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about some of the times I've used my bigger camera walking in or out. I know when we took the boys to Kentucky turkey hunting, I was walking by. I was kind of letting everybody walk in front of me, and I just kind of looked up, and you got a dad and his boys walking through the woods, and I was like, this is a perfect moment for this camera. So I pulled the camera back out, and I got them, video from behind them. They're walking through the woods, kind of talking about what just happened. You can hear the leaves crunching and all that kind of stuff. It was kind of a really cool angle. Nobody maybe has seen it like that, but that was how I viewed it through my eyes.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. The more you film, the more you realize like, oh yeah, you're just walking behind your buddy and his kids or whatever. But then you kind of like might get to the stand, and be like, man, that would have been a really cool shot to just kind of pull
Yeah.
out and shoot. So you kind of do learn just to film like everything, and then you look back on it, and you're like, man, I'm glad I filmed that because it makes really good footage. It kind of tells the whole story of.
Great footage. I have B-roll. Then the property that we were down there on some family of mine down in Kentucky, but it's right on Lake Cumberland. So we took them down to a boat ramp, and they're skipping rocks and stuff like that. And I got video of all of them skipping rocks and kind of just having fun. We're down there. It was almost like I would say a mini vacation. It was a long weekend in Kentucky, and we're just having fun, seeing out on the water and stuff. I had a shot of the lake out there and stuff, and the kiddos skipping rocks, and it was just kind of a cool to put that in there to see. It wasn't just about hunting for us down there when we were turkey hunting. It was about us having fun together.
Yeah, it's pretty important to kind of tell the whole story, I think.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
not just we got set up in the tree, we're getting ready to shoot this deer. It kind of
Right.
just shows the whole adventure. So something that we've talked about quite a bit is camera arms. I know you've
Yeah.
battled with that this year, and I've battled with it. And let's kind of talk about the direction to head with that, and
Well,
some of the struggles you've had, and why you're going to get away from that
yes.
hunk of metal.
So, yeah, I have a Muddy Outfitter camera arm. That's what I use. This is the base. You ratchet strap this to the tree. You stick the camera arm in this hole, and you can adjust the angle and all that. If it's down low, I can crank this handle and level it back out, kind of thing. But this thing is heavier than it looks, and when you put it on a backpack on your back with 100 different things, you feel like there's a midget in your backpack.
How heavy? How heavy is it?
I would say between 5 to 8 pounds, maybe. I know I'm
That's
holding it one handed, but
I'd say that's
it's
pretty
heavy.
accurate.
It's heavy, and this is the arm that goes in it. It's a muddy arm that you stick in there and rotate. I already have this when it goes into my backpack. I already have a fluid head attached to it, and I know this looks like a mess right now. Usually it's zip tied on here, the wire from it, but I actually run a remote on the end of it, so I can zoom in and out. I can hit record, that kind of thing. This thing is not the problem with this camera arm. It's the weight of that base. I love this part of it because it actually has a built-in level on it, so I get the the bubble in the mark and everything's good. It's very smooth. But I don't know, something about this thing just it's too much. It's too heavy. For next year, I'm definitely going lighter. I want something that's half the weight, and I want something that's just as durable. Because my camera is not super heavy, but when, you can tell there's weight on it once you put that in there. But definitely, if you're gonna spend the money to have a setup, buy a nice fluid head. And I actually bought 2 of them identical because on the camera.
Can you tell everybody what a fluid head kind of is first before you go into it?
Yeah, fluid head is just it's a where you there's a connector on the bottom of your camera, and it slides in this slot on this fluid head. But it's what you control your camera. It's what it's based off of, so you have very solid movement. It's not choppy and that kind of thing.
I really like that fluid head. Mine is gosh, now I can't remember the brand. Mine's really bulky though. Mine's about twice that size. What kind of fluid head is that?
This is a Manfrotto, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's what mine is actually. But mine's pretty big. So
yeah, Manfrotto's pretty nice.
That remote, how does that work? That hooks straight to your camera?
Yeah, there's a port for it on my camera, so it just slides in there. Give me just a second. I dropped something.
Okay. And he's back.
Dropped my camera actually off this thing.
Uh-oh. What does a remote like that cost?
I looked at a lot of them, and they were $100 plus or so on there. But I actually found it. The one I bought was actually used. I bought it on eBay for like $30. And it's a game changer, man, because you're not on top of your camera, zooming in, zooming out, hit record. I'm back there with the handle from the fluid head, and I can control it, and I can hit record. I can zoom very smooth, in and out, very smooth. And that's what I like about it. It helps me zoom in and out super smooth without being like right on top of the camera.
What type of so you're gonna get away from that camera arm? What are you gonna hold the camera? Are you gonna buy a new camera arm? What are you
Now I'm
gonna?
gonna buy a new camera arm. They
Okay.
make those fourth arrow where the bases are, this base. You got this deal on here. Let's see if I can kind of show you what I'm talking about. But you pull these things down and this thing kind of rotates around in case you're on a tree that's leaning and you can get it level and that sort of thing. But the whole base for the fourth arrow is about just this thing, just like it's like a socket that you put your camera arm in, and you kind of go without having such a heavy base. I think it looks very nice. I could get it and probably totally hate it. I don't know. I just sometimes gonna have to get and kind of play with.
Yeah, Fourth Arrow's a bit the big name on the market. I've got one that actually attaches to my Summit. It just attaches to the front rail, and then it's kind of got the socket in it, and you mount your camera on there. And I've been pretty happy with it. There's a couple things I think I would change. It's got some screws that it's got one screw on it that you have to tighten up kind of on the shoulder. That's kind of small threads. I actually dropped it in the woods the first time I ever used it,
Yeah, I remember you
and
saying that.
I thought I had lost a screw, and I climbed down and it just happened to be there. But other than that, I really liked it. But I'm gonna try to get away from my climber so much next year and kind of go with the saddle.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Really, I had Caitlin Armstrong on the podcast this past episode, and even the guest I had on before that, Scott Thompson from Texas. The way they talk about this, and I was scared at first that it would be such a hassle, setting sticks, and you're hanging from a rope in a tree, and it just, I'm not the skinniest person in the world, so I was kind of concerned about that at first. But the more I talked to her and him, it sounds like the way to go, because there's one key component on that that's going to help you in the woods: your mobility. You're going to be able to go wherever. You don't have to go to your set stand. You don't have to go to that ladder stand you've had hung for 2 years. You keep seeing a deer, you keep seeing a buck, run through the east side of a pasture, or a block of woods, or this certain edge. You're like, with a saddle, you're getting on top of them. I feel like you could be constantly moving, and it would probably help you out tremendously, especially with filming. You know how many times where I've seen deer going through a section of a woods and I'm like, I can't even get them on film. I can barely see them. That next hunt, go over to where you seen them. It's just a mobility thing that personally I've never had. I mean, yes, I have a climber, but that's just so big and bulky to go around. The trees have to be a certain diameter to get your stand in it, and I feel like with the saddle you could just climb up. You can use branches as steps. You could put one step that you hang on, you get up, you climb 3 or 4 branches before you put another step on it. You could use the train a lot better, I feel like.
Yeah, I know this is a little bit off the topic of filming, but I know there's a couple guys in the industry that kill very nice deer every year, and a lot of them um, don't hunt more than 10 or 12 feet off the ground in
Right.
mobile setup. So I don't, it's not always about getting up high and all that stuff either. I think it's just having the tools to kind of throw at whatever hunt you have. You may use a saddle one day, then you may go to another piece of property and say, hey, this climber might actually work better for this hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to have all those things. Tripods. What do you use for a tripod? Are you using?
So I actually have a Manfrotto tripod as well, and it actually has the exact same fluid head on the top of this tripod that my camera arm for being in the stand has. So this little bitty piece you can't really hardly see it, but there's a piece of black connector thing on the bottom of this camera. I don't have to switch that out to get it on my tripod as well. That piece can pretty much stay on my camera at all times, and then I just lock it in to the top of this, just like I would with my camera arm for a tree stand. And this thing's awesome. Taking it turkey hunting and stuff, you can adjust how high that you want it, and you can kind of level it out in your lap or whatever. If you're in a blind, very easy to set up.
Is that aluminum or is it carbon fiber?
Carbon fiber, I believe,
Yeah.
but it's very nice. And I actually I think I want to say I got it on eBay as well. Um, Sometimes I just scan eBay for stuff that I've been wanting that may be more money than what you're really wanting to put out on some of this stuff. And I think I got this on sale used for like $120, when normally something like this is probably going to run you around the 3 to 350 range.
Yeah, and something to keep in mind about all this gear and everything. Obviously, you don't probably not want to buy a camera used and all that, but anything like a tripod or maybe a camera arm, something that's going to get beat up and all that stuff. Like me, I bought my tripod used, and I think I paid $30, and it was like a $200 tripod to begin with, and
Right.
I'm not scared to beat it up and get it all muddy. I'll just buy another one for $30 on eBay. So,
Right. That's
um,
kind of how that remote went for the camera arm. The one I wanted is really nice. It's got standby on it and all that, which would be probably pretty nice to have because you could just hit that button and then your camera's on and ready to go. But I, finding it for $30 on eBay, I was like, steal, because you're gonna plug it in. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. But it was in incredible shape. I think they even sent it to me in like the original packing that it came in. So I was
does,
like, well, this thing can't be too bad beat up.
does that just plug into the auxiliary port?
So there's actually a port or like a deal on the side of this that has a bunch of different things. You have remote, you have HDMI in and out. You actually have the port for your wireless mics and whatnot. So it's got a bunch of settings on there, man. You really got to get it and kind of mess with it.
Yeah, I really like those fluid heads. I didn't realize you were using such a small fluid head. I wish I had mine with me, but mine is probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches wide. It's pretty bulky and it's pretty heavy, and it's really nice to get really good footage with it. But I
hmm
think I need to. How much does yours weigh? What would you
I
guess?
don't know on the way. It doesn't weigh much at all.
Yeah, it looks a lot. It's maybe like half the size, maybe a third of the size of mine. So that may be something I need to look at to shed a couple pounds. And I know a couple pounds doesn't sound like a lot, but a
Well,
couple pounds on every piece of gear does add up.
when I got it on the camera arm, um, it's just I love having this handle. I love having the big long handle off of it, especially to
Mhm.
run the zoom remote off of. But yeah, it's not big at all, man. I know it's kind of hard to see upside down, but
Is that something you strap to the outside of your bag or
no,
put inside your backpack?
so my backpack, let me pull it out. It's a big thing over here. This is my backpack that I use for deer hunting. So it's got buckles on the top and on the sides, and it opens up, and it has a pocket in the bottom of it. So I slide that camera arm with the fluid head and stuff already in there, right in that pocket, shut the thing, and get it buckled up, and it's safe and sound in there.
Is that for carrying a bow?
Yes, it's made for carrying a bow.
Okay, so it's super padded. So the next thing we're going to kind of touch on is actually hauling all your gear into the woods. I don't know about you, but I'm probably sitting with a climber and all my camera gear. I'd guess 40 to 50 pounds by the time I have water for all day and some
Yeah,
snacks and the
absolutely.
batteries. And um, how do you carry everything in the woods? Are you carrying two bags? I'm kind of carrying, I'll show you kind of what I got. I'm carrying a backpack strapped to the back of my climber that's got, my extra stuff, my rangefinder and all my stuff for hunting, my light, and
Right.
but then I've got this camera bag, and it's kind of just like a fanny pack that I intended on kind of wearing until I realized, the way the climber set on me and everything, that I just strapped to the back of my whole setup. So by the time it's all said and done, it's 40, 50 pounds on my back.
Yeah, I'd say
What
I'm
what are
close
you
to.
using?
I'm probably close to the same 40, 50 pounds on my back. So the base, the camera arm, everything besides the camera will go in that big backpack I just showed you. And then I carry a separate bag just for my camera. It's a Canon backpack. I have SD card books and all that kind of stuff and lens cleaning kits and stuff like that. But the inside of this backpack is actually padded. So I stick it right there in that main big pocket of this thing, and it just makes me feel better about having my camera and something like that cuz you've already heard on some of the prices that we've spent on these cameras. So I'm trying to protect that as much as I can. And I can put the GoPro and the remote for the GoPro in that bag as well. I can fit other stuff in my other camera bag, but that's usually the last thing that comes up. So I'll go up the tree, get the camera base set up, put everything together, and then I pull that bag up very last and put my camera right on top of that into the fluid head.
So when you walk into the woods, you're putting the hunting backpack you're putting on your back. What are you doing
Yes.
with the camera bag? Is
I'm
that
just
like
carrying it with my hand most of
just
the time.
carrying it with your
Sometimes
hand?
Bonowitz carries it for me. He realizes how much I'm, have on my back. He'll carry the bag for me. Ryan has carried the camera bag for me. Most of the time, they're pretty nice about it. Sometimes they help out. Sometimes I carry it. It's not a big deal either way. But when they help out carrying it, it definitely takes a lot off of me because, that big backpack's heavy.
Yeah. Is that I know you hunt a lot of private ground. If you were going to hunt a lot of public, say walking a mile and a half, would you feel like carrying that bag and your bow and the hunting bag?
No,
You feel like
I've done it a few times, and I'll never do it again. That's
yeah.
like when we're talking about putting this saddle setup together. I'm putting it all in one bag. Hopefully, whatever camera arm I go with now is a lot more versatile as being able to pack it in a backpack, and I want to be able to get the camera in that bag as well. So I'm definitely going to do some searching and ask a lot of people, because even with the saddle, you got to have that. You're going to have a platform too. So I know certain backpacks they make for saddle hunting, like you can strap. There's like a pocket almost for the platform. So I'm going to try to get it all in one backpack, so I can just carry the backpack up as I'm climbing up with the saddle. And it's just one of those things I'm going to have to figure out. And whoever I'm filming, maybe they can take some off of me. Maybe they can fit the camera arm or a base or something in their bag or figure. It's just it's gonna be a lot of experimenting and getting figured out exactly how I want to do it.
Yeah, there's if you're carrying a bag in your hand and a bow and you're self filming and everything, I mean, you could walk up on a deer and like try to chase after it and set the bag down and you get caught up in the moment. Next thing you know, you're away from your camera bag, just a million
Yeah,
things. It's good to just have the whole thing on your back so you can just, have everything in one bag. It just makes everything
absolutely,
so much more simple.
definitely.
If anybody else does self film that's listening that has a bag that carries all their gear, including their camera and everything, we'd love to hear it because we're both kind of in the
And
market. I've got a
I would like to just answer any questions that maybe anybody has, period, about what we're talking about.
I have a pretty big bag from Badlands that is specifically a camera bag, and it's probably a little bit bigger than the one Brett's carrying as far as his hunting bag, but it does have a spot for your camera. But I'm kind of looking for something that may be a little bit better to strap that platform to, make it nice and
Right.
easy. So extra gear and supplies too when you're filming, like how much is too much to take into the woods?
Anything more than what you really need. I mean,
Yeah.
like batteries, obviously, backup batteries. I even have like a little kit in there where I can clean the lens or wipe the lens off or whatever, to clean that up a little bit. But and some SD card books and some stuff like that. But as far as my camera stuff, I try not to go overboard with it, just simply for the fact that I don't want to pack any more weight in there that I possibly have to. Because in my other backpack that I pack the arm and the base and all that stuff into, I got snacks, I got my drinks, I got a grunt tube or stuff like that already in that bag. So I already have a lot packed in that bag the way it is. I mean, it's light as a feather when I get that camera base out of there, But that
Yeah.
thing is heavy. I ain't kidding you. It really feels like somebody's like jumping on my back sometimes with that thing in there. But it's sturdy. I love the sturdiness of it. Just don't like the weight.
So I know I don't have this in my notes either, but I just kind of thought of this. I hate using any kind of white light in the woods.
Hmm.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I really don't like using it whenever I have a set stand because I hate turning it on.
Hmm.
And then, there might not be a deer underneath you, but there may be one 100 yards away that you don't see. And they, over time, maybe you're hunting that stand a couple times a week. They kind of start to peg this light that's showing up, right at dark. When you're getting down from a setup, what are you using as far as light to break everything down? Are you waiting till dark to break everything
Most
down,
of the
or?
time, in an evening hunt, yeah, we're waiting till we can't see those pins on our bow anymore, or whatever the case, or legal shooting light. Um, yeah, I'm using a white light. I think there is a green light on one of my. I have like 50 headlamps. I swear, I feel like, but the one that stays in my harness most of the time, it's a white light.
Yeah.
So I'm probably am getting pegged at some point that I don't even know.
Yeah, I try to use a red light, but I do sometimes after maybe a few weeks hunting, you kind of get where you kind of can like feel where everything's at, and it's not completely dark. You may be able to see because of the moon that you can kind of break everything down. But I did wonder if you waited till, because I know there comes a point where you can kind of still see, but you can't shoot. So sometimes you don't always need a light.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
um,
and I've used like the light on my phone before because
mhm.
people make mistakes. I've forgotten my headlamp before. That's why I keep it in the same pocket of my harness every time now, so I know that it's there. But that's kind of an accessory that I pick up multiple times. I feel like a year in a season. Like I might be in Bass Pro or Cabela's or something and just pick another one up, or I might be grocery shopping at Walmart and see it in the hunting section and grab another one. I got like 100 of them, I feel like. But sometimes you pull it out and you hit it and like the battery's pretty much dead on it. It's barely doing anything. You're like, crap. So I dig in my bag and get another one out. I think I actually have an extra one in my backpack at all times.
Yeah, I actually carry two headlamps with me too. One for the batteries too, in case I drop it.
Mm-hmm.
I carry two. They're one of them's a little more expensive, but I really like the Black Diamond brand. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you've ever used those,
I've
but
seen them. I've never had one, but
they have a strobe which you don't really need. Maybe if you fall out of your new saddle or something, but
hopefully that
um,
doesn't happen.
they have green, blue, red, and white light, and the beams are adjustable, so you can dim them really
Yeah.
low, or you can make them super bright, which I really like because sometimes I just need a hint of light to break everything down, or maybe go into the woods. But
It's funny
I'll
that you're talking about the headlamp because I just got done listening to your show with Brad Luttrell from Go Wild,
yeah,
and he was talking about buying a new light on the Go Wild thing. And I was like, huh, let me check this out. And I have, you know how it is when you get rewards on there, you get 50% off, 25% off,
hmm
whatever. I think I'm going to order that same light he was talking about just because
yeah.
I have like a 50% off on Go Wild, and it expires on like the 2nd of January or something. So I was like, I might order this headlamp, because it's
um,
got the multiple lights and stuff on it.
what brand is it? You know,
I don't remember it, honestly.
the marketing got Brett. He's wanting to dish up
Yeah.
that money.
Yeah. Hey, I've gotten quite a bit of stuff off there. I have a T-shirt, stickers. I have actually a bracelet that I wear. It says "Go Wild" uncensored on it. I'm thinking about buying a. I should have brought it down here for this show, but I had a deer that I killed back in 2014. I had it in the freezer back when I was young and dumb and didn't have the money to get it mounted. I wanted to get it mounted, and then it sat in there for multiple years, and I was like, man, I can't get this. I'd have to get a new hide for it and everything else. And we were duck hunting with some guys one day, and he said, hey, I do that. If you want to, just trade me some duck decoys and I'll do your deer for you. I'll just do a Euro mount for you for free for the decoys. Awesome. So I got that back this past weekend. It's my 2014 bow kill. Decent little 8-pointer from Hancock County, but they actually have a Euro mount kit thing in there for hanging it on a wall where you can like
Oh yeah.
move it and adjust
hmm
it. So I'm thinking about ordering that thing too.
Yeah, they're deals. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, it's called Go Wild. It's actually an app you can get on your phone, but it's basically Facebook for hunters. They don't censor anything. God, Brad's gonna kill me for comparing his app to Facebook, but you can post any hunting content on there. Everyone's super nice. Nobody shames anybody for anything. Um, yeah, it's a really nice app, but the more you post, the more you tag gear in there, you earn points, and you can get free stuff like Brett was saying, t-shirts and stickers, and it ships to you for free. You don't pay a penny for some of the stuff, but you do get a lot of discounts. I think I got 20 or 25% discount on muck boots today.
I
So
did. I got that one too. And then when you first set your profile up, I believe it's like a 25% off Vortex optic products as well,
mhm.
which is huge. Somebody might be looking for some new binoculars or something. And those are very nice binoculars.
I actually got my T-shirt today from them, but
Oh,
which
nice.
which actually came after the 2 sticker packs. I earned that after the 2 sticker packs, but the 2 sticker packs still haven't shipped, so I might have to get on Brad about that. I'm kind of wanting those stickers to stick on the back of my
He was a
truck.
cool guest, man. I really liked hearing his story, however he set everything up with his buddies and stuff in the garage, with $500 or whatever. I'd like to get him on my show. There's a few people that you've had on your show here recently that I want to get on my show as well. Not to copy you by any means, but like that you had Cody on there from
Yeah,
Whitetail Legacy. I've already messaged him a few times, and I seen his name pop up with your show. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
it's
But
fun. It's
it's
funny,
fun.
Brett and I we swap guests sometimes, but you do get a different perspective because Brett and I are two totally different people. He has different questions, I have different questions, and any info we can pull and put out there is
Oh yeah,
helpful. How did you get that bracelet? I want to know because I
it
didn't get a
was
bracelet.
no, it's in the store, but
Oh,
I used my $10 gift or whatever it was, and it was $8.99, so I just used my $10 gift on getting the bracelet for free.
I think mine expires January 1st. I think I'm going to get on there and do
Yeah,
that.
get you bracelet because I wear one on the other side as well. I wear a Indianapolis Colts one on the other side, so I figured, why not put one on the other hand?
Did you get your T-shirt yet or
I
anything?
did. I actually wore it in not the Caitlin show, but the before that on Scott Thompson. I wore my Go Wild shirt.
I don't know why they're taking so long to ship stuff to me. Must have something against me.
It took a while to get my stuff too, which I am not complaining. It was free,
Oh
so
yeah,
I'm
it's
just gonna roll with it. Whenever I get it, I get it. I like a lot of those sticker packs they got. I don't know which one that you got, but it's got like a bullet on there with you can put your name, your
yeah.
username and stuff on there.
I've
Yep,
got
that's the exact one I got, and if you could see the other side of my laptop right now, you would laugh because if anybody sends me stickers, it goes right on my laptop. I actually don't even have any more room on my laptop. Um, I got that one too. That was awesome. I put that one on
yeah.
my beer fridge in the garage. You
Yeah,
should
that's
see
pretty
this
cool.
beer fridge in my garage. I got so many stickers on that thing. Bowhunting league and this and that. It's just kind of cool.
So Brett has he has these really badass sock hats he had made. I'm kind of jealous of, but I still haven't got a sticker from you, so I need you to send me one.
After we're done with the show, just text me your address. I'll get some out. I'm actually in the process right now of getting some new T-shirts made, so
Oh
I
yeah,
might have to get you one of them too. Will you wear a large?
yeah, yeah, with large.
I got you. I might just have to throw that in there with that sticker pack. But we
Those
actually had some landowners that we hunt off of in Shelby County that I guess were asking over the holiday weekend where their T-shirts are at. So me and Ryan put some stuff together, and some ladies that actually live over here close to me own a print shop here in town. So I'm getting some stuff made up.
I think man, we're getting way off topic, and I don't even
Oh
care because
well,
it's my
having
show
fun.
and I can do it.
Right.
So I sent out some letters this year for permissions, and I got a lot of responses, but I got a lot of no's. There's other people that hunt here. Mostly, I'd say 95% of the people that responded were not. You can't hunt here because I don't allow it. It was mostly there's already people that hunt here, but I gotta get some stickers made because I just think that
Yeah.
looks so official to send out with those letters. Because
I
I
never
am
thought about it like that, but I had Scott Thompson on the other day, and he sends like has a cover letter, and a resume and everything in with this letter that he puts to ask for permission. Some guy actually was like, that's so official. I'm going to let you hunt my property. So I might have to try that this year. I might try that a few times just to see how it goes if I get a response.
you have him email over that resume, and we'll just take his name out and we'll
Yeah,
just cut our
right.
names in, and it seems to work for him. So we'll just run with it. Maybe that's something he could sell for $1. I don't know.
It's actually a great idea. I never really thought of it like that. Most people, out here where I'm from, they're, old fashioned type of people. So I don't know how far that, cover letter and stuff would go for somebody. But, some people might just see that the work maybe you put into it and say, hey, if this guy's, put this much effort into this cover lever. I'm sure he's going to put that much effort into protecting my property or keep an eye on things for me when I can't.
Yeah, it's amazing when my wife and I spent hours and hours filling out addresses on envelopes and folding letters and sticking stamps. And it's like, not a single a yes, but I'm not giving up. I'm
I'll
gonna
keep
keep,
hitting it.
I'm gonna keep sending them out through. Maybe it's because it was hunting season. I'm gonna send them out in the spring and the summer, and I'm gonna stick a sticker on there. I actually did have, I think I've got them. I went to CVS here,
Uh-oh.
got some. Oh gosh, I'm sure I can find them right here. Oh, I might have one stuck right here.
Get you a business card. Oh, you got the. Oh, that's cool.
I got the Hunt the Wild return address labels for anybody that's not watching on YouTube. Man, for like $6, you get like hundreds of them, and
I
I
might
don't
have to
know. I
get that
just
made up myself.
little little touch, but yeah, CVS or Walgreens, they can hook you up with that.
Yeah.
So back to the filming stuff. What are some things that you wish you knew before you jumped into this filming game?
I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that one. Maybe the price of some of the stuff the cost of some of the stuff. But I feel like it's such an addiction anymore that I'm just keep going through it. You know what I mean? Just barrel through, get what I need to get to do it because I want to do it nonstop.
If you had to start over from square one, would you go a different route as far as what camera you bought? Would you do anything differently, or would you buy everything exactly the same?
I would probably buy everything exactly the same, but maybe switch up the camera arm if I knew how much it was going to weigh. And it's not hard to put up once I get up there. Most of the time we're hunting those 2-man sets. The person below me, the hunter, can even help me with the strap. I can flip it around there and they can grab a hold of it for me. They hook it to one side of the base. I hook it to one side of the base, and then I pull the tension tight on the ratchet strap and then just click it once or twice, and it's usually money. I mean, it ain't going nowhere. And maybe something that a kind of a tip for people out there, kind of see what kind of tree you're in too. Like, you don't want to hunt like a shag hickory with a camera arm because you're trying to get that base on there and the bark's coming off the tree, or whatever the case might be on whatever tree it is. But we have that problem. There's one setup that me and Adam hunt there. It's like a shag hickory or whatever. It seems like every time we're up there, I have to rip a big piece of bark off of it because when you're trying to ratchet, your ratchet's just, or your base is just kind of sliding with the bark because that's wanting to rip that bark off the tree.
Um, I know, and I didn't film a whole lot this year because I got so frustrated with chasing some of these deer. That's a whole other story. But
Right.
I know it can be frustrating filming and not getting what you feel like you need on camera and all that stuff. What would be your best advice for anybody wanting to film hunts?
Um, Film as much as you can, and if you have a page like a YouTube or Instagram or something like that, just put as much content as you can possibly out, and don't think too much about it. Because when I go to put some of the stuff on there, I feel like I have to have it perfect, and then I go back and look at other YouTubers doing the same thing, and like their quality isn't that great, but they have 5 times the views that I have. So I'm trying to just maybe not think about it too much and just start kind of plugging away as much as I can on getting it out.
Yeah, it's something I think I worried about when I first kind of went down this hunt the wild adventure. Was when I posted content, I felt like everything had to be gold.
Right.
And your content has to be good, but I think just posting, is the main thing. And it does teach you what people want to see. You kind of learn like what people like, kind of shows you what maybe to film and what not to film and what to post and everything. But you just
Right.
got to keep at it. It can be frustrating, but it's pretty rewarding when you get it all together. Um,
Absolutely.
I missed one thing on here, and I do want to touch on it. And we're gonna probably go different routes with this because I know we have different kind of like computer setups, but
Hmm.
editing, what do you use to edit?
Well, I used a software called Antimatica that I got found on Microsoft Store that I used my first 10 videos, maybe, if maybe not more than that, on the YouTube. And then I started having problems with, like on old kung fu movie or something, like they talk, but then like the audio doesn't match up with the lips, and it was
Hmm.
really starting to make me mad. And you had talked about using iMovie or whatever it is on the Apple side, so I looked on my computer to what was on there, and there was actually a film editing software already in there. So I've used it the last couple times, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's not as easy to use as the other software. When you could do like putting in transitions or text or filters and all that kind of stuff on there. It's not as good as the Animatica is, but the you load your clips, whatever clips you want, and then you drag them down and put them where you want in a certain order, and it's pretty easy to use. But um, I'm really hard on myself when it comes to editing. Just a simple 10-minute YouTube clip from deer hunting or something takes me several hours just because I want everything to look right. I want it to transition well. The music that I put in with it really drives me nuts because I feel like I want it to match the scene that's going on, and I go through millions and thousands of audio clips that I can use or audio that I can use for it. That's probably what takes me the longest, honestly, because I have an audio deal where there's just millions of pages of stuff that I can look at and use for free without getting flagged by YouTube, and I just go through there and try to find something I feel fits the mood of what's going on. Like the video we have from the first week of archery season where we have some encounters with a couple bucks the first day of season. I went through that thing. I bet you it took me 3 hours until I finally found that music that I felt went with it, and it sounds really good, and I feel like it goes very well in the video.
Yeah, I'll have to. That's something too that you have to be kind of mindful of if you're going to upload to YouTube. I have put music in there before that's just been playing in my truck radio, and I
Yeah,
thought it was going to be all good and dandy. But and they didn't take the video down; it's still up. But
yeah,
if you're wanting to ever monetize on any of those videos,
yeah.
you can only use specific songs that you have, like a licensing agreement or whatever to do.
Copyrights.
Yeah, copyright. So I'll have to snag that list from you. They don't take those down.
So, do you still have the video on your YouTube of the with the sound where it's in your truck or whatever?
I do,
And it says
yes.
copyright claim on there. Am I not?
Yeah,
Am I correct?
yeah, I believe
So,
so.
go to YouTube Studio on your computer, right? And
Hmm.
when you go in there, you're trying to fix that. You'll go through a process of the copyright deal, and it'll say replace audio, and you click on this, and dude, there is thousands and thousands of audio. So I'll go through there and listen to them, and then I'll just upload them to my computer. So I got a bunch of them just downloaded off there, but you can actually click on it, and it'll put it in your video for you in place of what you're being claimed on.
It'll give you just a totally different song, or it'll give you that song with the actual.
It'll take that audio out and put the audio that you're choosing in to replace it.
But that stuff is a pre-approved or whatever.
Yep, there's no
Nowhere.
that's YouTube provides it.
That
Most
is
people don't even know it's there probably.
that is something that I wish I knew because if I had known that when I started uploading YouTube videos, I would have never went that route because I was worried about that kind of stuff and I was like, I'll just post it and we'll find out. And sure enough, I was in the
Well,
wrong.
I've
So
had problems even with audio that I have permission to use. So Jacob Harbor Music from North Carolina gave me permission through him to use all of his music in any of the videos of my choosing. So I started using them, but the people that he, I don't know, copyrights his stuff or whatever kept flagging me on these videos, so I was getting mad. I'm like, I have permission, and then they would take the claim off there. And then I had one that had like 3 of his songs in it, and they wouldn't say that it's okay. So I had to replace the audio on it or whatever. So I messaged him and said, "Hey man, they're flagging me on all this." And he said that he's messaged them, and it's called CD Baby. So you know how we use like Anchor and stuff to put our podcast out. It's kind
Hmm.
of the same thing for small time musicians that just want to put out a single or something like that, and it's just a that's what they use or whatever. So whenever that audio comes up through YouTube, they flag all of them, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of really a no answer thing. You just kind of got to try it out and hope for the best, and you're kind of at their mercy. So,
Yeah, because they said that they could delete your whole YouTube account if you do it so many times or whatever. So, I'm not trying to lose all those subscribers that I got or the content that I have uploaded, even though I have it saved on a computer. I would still be pretty butthurt if all that stuff got deleted.
so I've really enjoyed doing this show on filming. I think it can be helpful to a lot of people. I sure know. I wish I would have had something to listen to like this to kind of steer me in the right direction. I was just kind of like camcorder, DSLR, which one do I buy? Like I just buy one and hope for the best. And so it's been very helpful. I think if you'd be open to it, maybe we could do a show, or you could do it by yourself, or I don't know, but we could do a show on how to get on podcasting, maybe
Yeah, absolutely.
how to
You
lay
know,
everything out and what platforms to use and all that stuff, because that's something too that
and
I
that's almost like the same thing, like when we went through all that stuff with, the cameras. It can all be how you want to do it. How, some people may not want a video for their podcast, because a lot of people listen to podcasts. They don't think that there's a video version of it. Like most of the time when I get guests, they're like, well, what number do I call to get on the show? It's like, well, actually, I send you a link through email, and there's a video version of it too. And some of them can kind of be hesitant. They don't want to be videoed.
uh-huh.
So, it could be a whole different setup, and or whatever. I feel like my setup is kind of personalized to myself, and I'm sure yours is the same way. You don't have two mics; you got one mic because
Yeah.
it's just you.
Yeah, just me.
I have some co-hosts sometimes, which is a complete blast, dude. I've been having so much fun with having co-hosts in there, and I'm really digging this live thing that you got going on with people commenting on it and stuff. That's
Yeah.
really cool. We might have to do that like once a month, just do a live show where we get in there and BS or something. But I think that would be cool to do a live. Maybe have like me and you and somebody else in there, maybe just chatting on a certain topic or just BSing in general. It might be kind of a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I really like the live too, because a lot of times people are they have questions and stuff, and they're like, "Man, I'll message him tomorrow. I'm eating dinner. Like I can't watch this right now."
Right.
Different stuff or whatever. So it's good that they can just get on there and ask the question real quick and try to get the answer, within minutes.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
can you tell everybody where to find you on social media and your podcast and YouTube and all that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us on pretty much any social media platform: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Go Wild. I don't think I'm leaving anything out. And then the YouTube, Blue River Bowhunting. And then the podcast can pretty much be found where any podcasts are at: Spotify, Apple, Google, Breaker, Stitchbox, all that stuff. It's all on all that stuff. It's put out there for us. But definitely check us out, and go check out the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And, our podcasts are put on YouTube. So if you want to watch it each week, you can. If not, you can do the audio thing too. But definitely check us out because we got some pretty cool guests that we've had on. We had Caitlin Armstrong on for episode 14, and she's a saddle hunter, public land from Ohio that's big in the TikTok world. So, it was just kind of cool. We have cool guests on, and just check us out.
Yeah, cool, man. I appreciate you taking the time, and we'll have to do, like you said, we'll have to do this live more because I mean, we only got five or so comments from a couple guys, but it's interesting. And Tony mentioned that camera arm that holds a phone. I kind of figured they made it, but I didn't, know what the brand was and all that stuff. So maybe somebody's looking for that. They know Tony's used it and he's had pretty good luck with it, and maybe that'll help somebody in the future.
Absolutely.
All right, man. I'll let you jump off here, and I'll catch up with you.
Absolutely. Have a good one. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
All right. Thank you, guys.